So he got the colon cancer in
1976, and he was 51 then. The way he found out that he had colon cancer is he started to bleed from his rectum. So at that time, really nobody knew about colon cancer. It was not, and they didn't call it colon cancer at that time. What they did say was he had polyps, a sea of polyps in his intestine that needed to be removed. So they removed about 2 feet of his intestines where these polyps were and sewed him back up. And then he was fine uh, for about 10, 12 years. Nothing. He'd get it checked, everything was okay. And um, then he started to bleed again. So he went to the doctor, and they said that the polyps were back, and they took a biopsy and said it was cancerous. So he decided that he was gonna he was really ahead of his time. He used to take vitamins. You know, you're going back now, 1976, and he was into health. So he decided that he wanted to take a holistic approach to fight this cancer, and he found this uh, clinic in Mexico that did this procedure called the Gershwin therapy. And actually, Steve McQueen did this. He was an actor. And so he and Yaya went to Mexico, and they did this treatment, which in essence says that if your colon is clean, it will do its job and clean out all the toxins in the food. So he had to do these coffee enemas, and he only ate organic food. And Uncle Tassa would go to the organic markets in New York and bring back like huge bushels of carrots and all kinds of vegetables. He only ate vegetables. He only used stainless steel um, any the juicer he was juicing. Now we're going back into the 80s now, late 80s, early 90s. So um he was very faithful to that. He didn't deviate for one iota, and yet it still didn't stop the bleeding. So we took him to a doctor in Philadelphia, and he was supposedly Dr. Marks, the leading authority in colon cancer, and um, so he had this major operation where they gave him a colon. He had a bag, and um, but what happened was the cancer had spread to his urethra, which is, you know, has to do with your urine, where your urine passes, and it spread to some vital. They couldn't get all the cancer out, so he did go through chemotherapy, and he didn't lose his hair, but he did chemotherapy and all that stuff, radiation, um, and he was good for about a year and a half, and then it came back and it spread to his vital organs, and it was like he was fine one day, and then then I got a phone call on a Friday night that he was bad, and he died that Monday. So what the doctor told my brothers and I is that we all are at greater risk for colon cancer because of that, and my brother's at a greater risk than I. So what happens now is that most people get a colonoscopy every, I believe it's every 10 years, but I go every 5 years. So I've had about 4 or 5 of them. And, it just makes you think that you really do have to be cognizant of what you're eating. And he told us stay away from red meat. Um, Make sure to eat, a lot of vegetables and things like that. So that's what happened.